we are quite comfortable that the solutions that we provide and the electronic nature of the statement will withstand any kind of court challenge. So it's important to understand that is not a Word document, even though you might be looking at a Word document representing the evidential standard. So the standards have been signed off nationally, although there is local sign-off required between the police and the local CPS. And we have two forces live with that product. So we've got Hampshire that are rolling out to 600 devices, and all 2,224 officers will have access to their electronic statements. I think we're up to about 300 officers at the moment. Sussex are going live and extending their trial out to another 200 officers, and I've currently got a small number of officers that are doing live statements. So there are people doing that. There are live statements being taken probably as we speak. So that's around the sort of evidential authenticity. And obviously in terms of the benefits, the hard and soft benefits around the product and that kind of approach to taking statements. One of them is that we're able to take statements offline, so you don't have to be connected. Systems will allow you to capture the data, capture the statement, and when the device that you're using comes back into coverage, then that will automatically be set up to the relevant server. And we're seeing already that that's showing signs of improved customer service, improved customer experience. I think that's been very positive from that point of view. We also have the opportunity to refine and streamline some of the processes that are in place. So we're able to deal with taking a statement as part of a wider process that involves attending an incident, the incident becoming a crime, so submitting a crime report, and then taking a statement all in one visit, which then improves the efficiency side of things as well. And by taking it in an electronic format, we're able to submit that and share that, as we'll talk about shortly. And that obviously feeds into the efficiency programs that are running with justice. Electronic witness statements is just one element of work that we're doing with Hampshire, and there are 25 other processes that will be mobilised as part of that project around this electronic input. Just on the witness statement, Hampshire, in their pilot review, quoted that they believed around 62,000 hours of savings would be achievable if all of their response officers and all of their criminal justice unit savings were taken into account. So whilst that's a soft saving, it's an efficiency and effectiveness gain, it's not necessarily a cashable saving, but you can see from that sort of number that it's a very significant contribution to making their efficiency savings. In terms of cashable savings, there's a smaller number in that, where we're looking at targeting with Hampshire around £156,000 a year-on-year savings. That's their figure. So we can see how that is audited and get the update on that once we've had a full year of live running. Similarly, Avon and Somerset quoted in their benefits report following their trial that the likely financial saving created through reduction in back office functions would be around 323,000. So you can see that there is significant soft benefit, non-cashable, as well as cashable benefits available. So what does it look like? We've got a standard interface that looks the same whether it's on a PC, a laptop, an iPad, a BlackBerry Playbook, any other device that you might want to use in this context. A selection of forms that you can fill in, whether that's a witness statement, an officer statement, a personal victim statement, they can all be completed as part of the process online. And then we take customer details, allow the witness to complete the details. There's a spell check function, and there are numerous digital signatures applied throughout the capture process before the witness is then given the opportunity to sign on the screen, and then again the document is digitally signed both on the device and when it arrives on the server. And then once it arrives on the server, a Word document is produced that becomes the working copy, and a separate secure copy is stored on a permanent basis. So, once you've got that document, it's then into the collaboration space, and that's where I'll hand over to Ian to talk about how you might share that information. Okay. Thank you.
I'll be quick. If the presentation isn't here, I'll be even quicker. Yesterday I was at a book launch. This is it, Doing Time. It was written by Guy Upperman, who's an MP, a new introduction from 2010. He's a barrister, and a lot of his former clients are in prison. 50% of those clients are illiterate. 50% of those clients are heavy drug users. Now, not everybody will agree with what he's written in this book here, in terms of what he's advocating. But the interesting thing is that the book is being written at all because the issue about failings in our criminal justice system and severe problems within the prison system in particular is now part of the mainstream political debate. That's the name of the book, and that's the publisher. Very briefly, I'm going to talk about a couple of things today. I'm going to talk about case preparation, and I'm going to talk about interagency working. Now, case preparation is where the police work with the Crown Prosecution Service to collect the evidence, decide the charge based on the facts of the case, and from the Crown Prosecution Service perspective, present that case to court if they think it's appropriate. The way that they do that is with a collection of things called MG forms, Manual Guidance Forms, and there's 35 of these forms. These forms, this process of case preparation is estimated to cost about £1 billion a year. There are approximately 985,000 cases that go each year to the courts, and most of these cases are driven on paper. In most courts, there is a permanent employee an employee of the Crown Prosecution Service who sits in one of the rooms in the court next to a large photocopier, photocopying vast quantities of paper because there is not the electronic means to transfer information around. Andy's solution, which will be capturing witness statements at the point of where the witness actually is a step in the right direction, because what it means is the police officer does not have to write down the witness statement, go back to the branch and retype it into the system there. It will be captured at source, and what can then happen with it is it can be uploaded into some sort of case management system. Now, the document that you saw in Andy's system there is something called an MG11, and that's what an MG11 looks like when it's presented to court there. If I move on here is what a case looks like. This is a case management system called Criminal Justice Collaboration. It could be any case management system, but basically, under the other file section, you can see that witness document. And that witness document there, in the case of Regina v. Freeman, is the electronic witness statement that was captured using one of Andy's handheld devices and uploaded into this system here. So that's the individual case for Regina v. Freeman. And then if we move on next of all, we can see that for this individual, Constable Smith has a bunch of cases which he is currently working on, and he has some cases there with alerts showing against them. What we can also do with this particular system here is that we can take the information in this case and we can actually produce a single PDF from it. And with that single PDF, we can then distribute it either to CBS or to courts or to defence solicitors or to anybody else who has a need to know about it. And that's essentially how they can see the prosecution case. Also, what we can do, because we've got the whole thing captured electronically, is we have a back-end database there, and from that back-end database, we can actually enable collaboration with other agencies. So let me move on here. And let me go back to the point that I started off with, which is case preparation and interagency working. because we've got the information in the back-end database, we can then share it with other agencies, we can facilitate inter-agency working, and we can then start to address some of the issues that were raised by Mr. Opperman there in his book about the fact that there is a desperate need to establish communications between the agencies, whether it is from the police to the Crown Prosecution Service, or whether it is from the police to the courts in electronic format, or whether it is the courts sending it to the National Probation Service in electronic format, or to the National Prison Service. Last week I was at a conference, Francis Doe's conference there, and I was speaking to some magistrates there. One of the interesting things that those magistrates said was that when we sentence offenders, that is often the last we hear of them until, or if until, those offenders breach their sentences. At which point in time they come back to the court, we see they have failed, right, and we are required to re-sentence them or whatever. These magistrates said it would be a far better thing if we were able to see progress on a case taking place so that we could understand whether the offender was being successful or otherwise in meeting the terms of the sentence made against that offender. And if the offender was being successful, then the magistrates would like to speak to the offender in order to actually applaud them for their ability to actually progress against the terms of the sentence, which was something which was rather unexpected to me. But the point is, there is no facility to do that at the moment because the cases are not, because the case management systems are not joined up. But the good news is that it's changing. Francis Dunn actually talked about some initiatives today. One of the initiatives was the transition process, which will the system which will manage the transition of young offenders from yachts to probation. In addition to that, there is going to be a new national case management system for probation starting next year. It's all little by little, this stuff, but the good news is that it started, and I feel that it's going to continue. Thank you.
Yeah, my name is Curtis Higgins from Wolverhampton City Authority. You've mentioned a lot about information share, but there's key other partners that are excluded from the presentation. I don't know if you could touch on that. Like local authorities, there's 7 local authorities in the West Midlands that have different computer systems which are definitely compatible with each other, and NHS, and at the same time as we've been looking at the new technology that's coming into the police and resources, local governments taking the biggest hit of cuts. How do you expect us to get ahead of the game in the technology? It's going to be a low priority for us to achieve that.
Nick, are you able to say anything about work that's going on to join up with other agencies, particularly local authorities?
Number one, yes, I acknowledge that CLG took one of the biggest hits in the spending review. In addition, local authorities are a lot further down the road of outsourcing and therefore have their own interoperability issues both between themselves and third parties like policing. I think over the years, probably looking at the Crime and Disorder Act as a major advance actually, things have improved considerably in terms of information sharing and data hubs, etc. In a sense, my answer is that's not my problem, and that's the short answer. And at times of financial challenge and of austerity, you do see evidence of agencies, statutory agencies, retreating to their kind of core ground, and that has the effect of increasing the distance between them. So I think that your comment and your observation is a valid one. And I think we actually look to industry to support us. But insofar as we're required to elaborate on the situation is considerably better than it was certainly when I was an operational constable, sergeant and inspector. And I think that the answer is probably in terms of the technological standards converging and a kind of standards-based approach rather than joint procurement to any meaningful extent between police and local authorities.
Thank you. Is there any other questions? Fire and
Thank you, Councillor Chadwick of Worcester City Council. Just regarding the air point system, I can certainly see the benefits of recording and the savings that it offers in terms of police time and bureaucracy. Are there any concerns regarding the reliability of witness statements at the point of or under duress at that point of time, and how they would relate to, correct prosecutions or as such?
Well, I don't think in terms of the duress situation there's any significant difference between taking it electronically or taking it in the current process. I think it's probably worth noting that the statement records the chronology and any changes that are made. So each 1200 character section of text is committed, and once that section of text is committed, then you need to go back and make an amendment, which is noted. So the amendments are noted, and the time of those amendments are noted. So you have that full chronology of the statement, including any breaks. So.
Does that answer your question, or could you not hear? Is there a problem with the mic? Could you hear?
Sorry.
Why don't you take this one?
Is that better? Oh yes, it is. Good. Right, no, I was just saying, I think in terms of the process, there's probably very little difference between the paper-based process and the electronic process. If you're in a duress situation. So I think the other important factor really is that the statement records a chronology, so every section's date and time stamped, and any amendments to a committed section are highlighted as amendments. So there is that complete chronology, and it shows if there's doubt in the witness's mind about a particular aspect of that incident. So you can see that. And as I said, you also have to record breaks. So the breaks are recorded with the reason. And there's also, if you abandon the statement, those abandoned statements are still submitted, even though they're abandoned and unsigned.